India versus Pakistan. What I want to understand is quite a few things here. Why do British Indians have more of an affinity towards supporting India versus England? Only in cricket, not in any other sport. The level of hatred between India and Pakistan is really overhyped. And I don't think it needs to be that severe, personally. It gets really personal. And I just think it was one nation at one point. You guys are taking this too far.
It is the biggest rivalry on earth. There's no bigger derby than India-Pakistan. Any sport.
Welcome, people, to this week's episode of the Indian Doctor Podcast. That was different. That wasn't the same. That was varied. Did a little bit of slippy slide on the screen.
Hey.
Thanks. Oh, wait. Is your mic working? Tap it. Very good. Okay. That was a lovely sound check for everyone out there. Yeah.
Very good.
Very good. Very good.
Give
Give me my jingles, man. Give me my jingles. I'm going to dive straight into it.
Have you not noticed sometimes we do a bit of a preamble before getting into actual confession?
We do.
It's quite nice.
Do.
I actually like it. I think it's like
you like it.
I like it. I think people like it. It's like an extra segment. It's like, ooh, what's happening before what's happening, what's before confessions and whatnot. 7,000 bande. That's what's happening, Indy. Tell me, bro. That's Mitrano.
7,000 bande. Wait, that's a lot.
7,000 bande ki karde hain, das.
What does 7,000 bande mean?
7,000 bande, 7,000 people ਸਾਡੇ Instagram ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ
ਅੱਛਾ
follow ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਦੇ ਤਾਲੀਆਂ ਇੰਦਵੀਰ ਲਈ ਜਿੰਜਵੀਰ ਹਾਂਜੀ thank you
for everyone that follows us on all platforms. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Really appreciate it, guys.
We hit 7k on Insta
just now, and we're 3k away from that magic number when you get the little K, what's the nice? Yeah, kakha. I was thinking of a nice Punjabi word with K. 10K,
kilo.
10k kilo, 10k kanjar, but that was the kanjar kept coming to my head. I'll say that 10k kanjar.
10 carat. 10 carat, 10 carat.
10 carat bande. Haan,
there you go.
So guys, we are not far away. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. I'll tell you how I know it's amazing, and this is how you know when somebody actually understands Instagram. I was at a wedding on the weekend, and this is kind of like preamble to what's happening. But I'm not going to give the full story. But basically, somebody was like, I heard you on podcast. What is it? Went on his phone, typed it in. He did a follow. And he was like, yo, respectable numbers. That's what he said. I was like, this guy knows. He understands.
If you understand the clout that comes with numbers,
right? More than 1,000 people, right? Especially when you haven't got like 3 posts and you got like this many followers. But
it's engaged followers as well. Like you can buy followers.
Tell people what that means.
Okay, you could buy followers and it looks like you've got bare people that are following you.
Yeah.
But then when you look at the interaction on your posts, like number of comments, likes, plays on your reels, etc., that's when you know, is it matching? If it doesn't match by like massive amounts, like you got a 15k following and 200 views, something's wrong, which means you pissed off Instagram and they've potentially shadow banned you because you've just done some put their camera.
What was that terminology? They what banned you?
Shadow ban. So shadow ban is where you don't get your stuff shown to other people organically. Because it knows you've gamed the system and bought a bunch of followers.
Is that a real term?
When you do that, essentially it fucks you and your progress in the algorithm.
Have you made that term up or is that a real term?
No, it's real. It's real. Shadow banning's real. So there was once upon a time a comedian I'm seeing on Thursday, Andrew Schultz. I couldn't find him on Instagram unless I went to my own following and then found his name and then went to his page. It was mad because people were posting about it on Twitter, and then I went on Instagram to try and do it, and it matched. I was thinking, whoa, they shadow banned him. So they do it to some people.
What is interesting about what you just said there is the other day when I was looking through the messages, the bit of homework I did to gather everybody's messages. You'd actually messaged him in the past. I don't know if you remember.
I did.
But the message you wrote to him was really funny, man.
Yeah.
Proper full depth, like, listen. You're in London or something. I'm in London. Let's be something so funny. I was like, if it's going to work, that's exactly the type of message. This guy's thinking, who is this guy in this podcast? He's got like 20 followers. That's me. So fair play, man. Fair play. Maybe it's probably worth another message now.
Maybe.
But yeah, 7,000 people, a lot of gratitude. We love being here. We love doing what we do. Thank you, man. So yeah, let's do it, man. So you ready, Indy?
Hanji.
Confessions of Brown Monday.
And this week, I am returning my wife to center stage.
ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਖਬਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੰਜੀਤ ਕੌਰ.
So yesterday I went to see Munya Chawawa, who is a comedian that people know about through Instagram with his funny little shorts he's done about Nigella and the government during lockdown. Good show overall. That's what I'm going to start off by saying.
Good.
Didn't get off to the best of starts though.
The show.
Yes. So Sanj came from work. I came from work. It's a Monday night. We have bags. We cannot leave our bags anywhere. We get to the venue and the venue says no bags allowed inside.
Give
and
context.
We said,
what bags are you talking about?
Work, rucksacks.
Normal backpack.
Normal backpack.
What's the venue? What type of venue is it? Like a
It's
Glee venue or like a big...
Yeah. It's like it's an O2 sponsored venue. So it's the O2 venue in Kentish Town.
So you would expect Cloakroom.
You would expect a cloakroom, but they had a cloakroom. However, it was £5 to put your bag in at a time.
Oh, so there was an option.
£7.50 though.
So there was an option. There was an option. There was an option. That's different. Then.
But here's the caveat, Gordon. I've had my stuff jacked when I've left it in a locker or in a cloakroom before. Have I told you this on the podcast?
No.
Once upon a time, there was a girl called Sanj, back when we were friends. She pretty much encouraged me to go to see Diljit for the first time. I'm just telling people now the story, yeah?
Go on. Yeah.
Left my stuff in the cloakroom. I had my dechi, I had my laptop in there, everything. Left it in the cloakroom.
Love letters to Sanj, yeah.
Sure. Left it in the cloakroom at Wembley Arena. Big Wembley Arena.
Oh, come on, yeah, exactly.
Right, left it there.
Right.
Went back to collect it at the end, and she said, the woman at the cloakroom, "Oh, I gave it to your mate." Excuse me. I gave it to your mate. My mate's right here. But Dal, that was his name. Have you received my items? He said no. She said, I said, so who's my mate she gave it to? Her face drops. She goes to the back. I'm pretty sure she has a panic attack. Comes out front and says, "I'm going to need you to wait for a bit so I can look at this again." I was like, okay, fine. I'm now thinking something's wrong.
Obviously.
And here's the problem. She'd given my ticket away to someone else, even though it's through the same ticket raffle system you use all the time. She gave me my bag and stuff.
Without the specific ticket. So how was it redeemed? That's the question. And who would have known, unless, they're right there at the point where you're checking your bag in and have seen the bag. There's no one else with the prior knowledge, is there?
No. So my bag was gone. My laptop was gone. Everything was fucked. And I went home ducky as hell. Sanj felt really bad because she's the one who said,
you should bring this up.
I feel bad because you didn't want to come to see Diljit, but I kind of encouraged you to come. Now you're here and you've lost all your stuff. I said, you should feel bad.
This up more often, man.
You should feel bad.
You know how girls hold grudges and it's like, it's the fight. But
I hold grudges. It's like you haven't fucking met me.
But you need to bring this up, man.
I need to bring it up more often, do I?
Prime ammunition. This is your get out of jail free card, man.
But she's gonna say to me, the last Diljit concert we went to was one of the best concerts he went to. I said, yeah, he was. It was. I won't lie.
One thing has got nothing to do with another. You told me, and my bag got stolen. And maybe you had it arranged. Maybe. You could say that.
So my bag got jacked, and I was very upset, very ducky. Went to bed. When you wake up in the morning and you're like, it was all a dream for 3 seconds, and then it hits you. You haven't got anything here. Got on the train back to Birmingham. Yeah, so ducky. Just had my phone, nothing else. I was thinking everything was on that laptop. Everything. You know how you lose your laptop, your life's on it? Yep. This is my life post-uni. Had all my memories on it, all that stuff, all my iTunes.
Pre-Google Drive?
All my Ghana. Yeah, everything. Pre-Google Drive by a long mile. Yeah.
Okay.
So, very ducky. Got to my mum's at the time. And on the dechi that I got jacked, it had my mum's number on it and her name. What happened was, the guy took it, threw it in his boot, drove to Leicester, and then looked in the boot and found it wasn't his. He picked up the wrong dechi. They gave him 2 instead of 1, which I don't know how you don't correlate that. But anyway, so yeah.
I came with 1 dechi. I'm going home with 2. That's normal.
Yeah, something like that. So then he called my mum and said, "I'm in Leicester. I've got your bag here, and I assume it's yours." And mum said, "It's not mine. It's my son's. He's going to come and get it." Drove to Leicester, got the bag off the guy, and everything was fine. I got lucky because there was a nice enough Singh who gave it back to me. He was a Singh as well. So I met him like in the middle of Leicester somewhere, and he just gave it back to me, which is really nice of him.
Why did you have to clarify he was a sing? I didn't understand what you meant. He was a sing. He was a sing.
Because
What did you mean?
Because here's what happened that evening.
Yeah.
Me and everyone there who saw my bag and got nicked were like, "Fucking hell! How dare Sings can do this to other Sings? Like, why would you do Jor at a concert where it's, the star wearing main act like Diljit Dosanjh, all this stuff? No." So I spent the whole evening slating them, and the next day I took it all back. Okay. So
Yeah, I mean,
we're
you
scarred.
started that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't really fit because it came back to you. I thought you were going to say you never found it again, but so everything was fine.
No, it was fine, but I got lucky in the sense that this guy had a conscience and gave it back to me. He could have opened the bag, kept it, and just said nothing, and I wouldn't have known anything.
And what he did was
I'd be none the wiser.
I said, "There's nothing valuable here. Let's give this back."
Maybe.
He's talking about wanting to do a podcast. Like, well, who is this guy?
In 2014.
2014, he was like, my podcast got none of me.
Nah, none of that. So that was fun. No. And since then, I'm very conscious. I'm very conscious of leaving any bags I have at a venue. Don't want to do it. So this place, Sandra's like, I know what happened to you in your bag. I don't want it to happen to me. So we're trying to figure out how do we get our bags inside. The guy's like, nah, you can't take your bags inside. What he said was you can leave your laptops with the security office, which people were doing willingly, and said you can collect this at the end and check in your bags at the bag drop.
Oh,
and the silly thing was...
Take out your valuables is what the thing.
Yeah, the silly thing was everyone felt a little bit conned because you've all come from work. It's a Monday. People have come from work. What are you going to do with your bags anyway? You're not going to go home and drop it off and come back to the venue. No one does that.
I was going to say, is that more... that definitely has to be a London thing because everyone here would just come home, wouldn't they? Like, that's a... normal.
Yeah, but commuting into central London, then going back out of central, then back in, it's silly. So they had a bag drop, and I'm pretty sure it was like a ploy to get people to spend more money on a bag drop, which the venue's going to take a cut of. And the venue said, we don't want any electronics inside. We said, hang on, but my phone? And they said, yeah, but laptops are different. I said, how are laptops different? They said, you can record on it. I said, I can record on my phone. I didn't say this. Sanj said this. Sanj said, I can record on my phone. He said, yeah, but if the battery explodes. I'm like, the battery explodes? Excuse me? He was just making bullshit excuses. He said, look, it's come from upstairs. I can't really do anything. This is what it is. So reluctantly, we gave our bags in. You go upstairs and it's balcony. And on the balcony, there are no backs to the seats. It is, yes, it's a venue where you're sitting on battered, like woven in seats. You know, the really old velvet ones that you sat on for so many years, they're grooved in.
Yeah, but with no back.
That's what it was. No back.
So you're just leaning forward.
Yeah, it was basically a bench. So we're sitting on that for 3-ish hours. Very uncomfortable.
Comedian, 3-hour show.
No, because we got there for 7, half 7. The main act, Munya, he didn't come on till about 9:15.
Okay. Sporting
so it finished at 10:15. So that's 3 hours, right? So it wasn't comfortable. Yeah, it got off to a really bad start. Sandra's fuming because she's thinking if my stuff gets jacked, I'm not going to be happy. I said, yeah, me either. But we have to hope the system works. So saw the show.
Yeah. Well, you got home, isn't it? I mean, there was no option for you.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Done.
So you got
to pay £7.50 for the privilege as well. So yeah.
Which for London, it's not that expensive, man. I was expecting
for a bag drop, it's expensive, bro.
Like NEC charged more than that. When we went to see Tony Robbins every day, the first day, bloody NEC, right? Kutte sale. You get there, right? The size of the bag you can take into the actual venue, Indy, right?
There's an A4.
Yeah, she's standing with a piece of paper, right?
Yes.
And I'm like,
yes.
Who has a bag?
Geezer said this yesterday.
Has a bag?
He said no bigger than an A4 sheet of paper. I'm thinking, okay, A4 sheet.
Come on, bro.
All right. Okay.
Even like mom's got a nice like a bag carrier, which is like for a laptop, like thing
tote bag.
Yeah, but like a slim one. But even that, and because they tried to do it the second day, that's why the first day I took a backpack, got completely screwed, had to stand a massive line, had to check in this thing, paid close to £10 for this bullshit, right?
Hi,
exactly, man. Some people doing that every day willingly, and then the next day I was like, all right, I come prepared. I bought like a pencil, and I had that little bag or whatever. And the person was going to compare it to a bag. I was like, are you for serious? Are you for real? Like, what do you expect me to bring, like, I don't understand, like it's a empty Polly Pocket, like just with my book in there. Like, bullshit, man. A4 bollocks.
Polly Pocket would have worked if you
You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, go on, carry on.
So the event kicks off. The warm-up act is his mate called Joe. He was okay. Very okay.
Yeah.
Second guy was a kid called Michael. He was actually pretty good. Very raw, but good. Munya comes out, does a very good set. And I was impressed. He mixed it in with a bunch of his skits that he does on stage and also skits that he does on video. But he did it on stage at the same time in sync, which is really cool. And mixed it in with his own comedian as well, because his own comedic lines, because he isn't a comedian by nature. He's a online internet comedian, not a in-person one. So we've been touring for the last few months to try and figure out his material and make it good. And in fairness, for someone who hasn't done much of that at all, he held it down. I laughed quite a bit and I was really impressed. So respect to him. I just hope he gets a different, better venue in the future. Me and Sanj leave. Everything is intact, happily. My bags are intact. We're all good. But then the next day, this morning, I looked at my phone. Guess who else was there at the event, Gordon?
Someone famous.
Maya Jammer, Michael Dapper, Stormzy at the same venue. What I didn't notice was at the back of the venue where the balcony where I was, there was like a velvet rope that no one could get over. And no one really looked and saw who was there. Yeah. But apparently they were all sitting there waiting for him afterwards. And they all got a bunch of photos and stuff done when he was there.
Who was waiting
in the end? Stormzy, Maya Jammer, Michael Dapper, etc. They were waiting for Munya to come off stage and then do like some happy photos and wish him congrats and all that stuff, because it was his final night in London.
Fair play, man. Man's making it.
Yeah, big time.
Man. You got big boys coming to watch your show.
Yeah, and then Sanj said, I bet they got to take their fucking bags in. And I was like, yeah, they probably did. I'm not gonna lie.
But do you expect any less? That's privilege, man. We know privilege exists.
So Sanj was not very happy. But I respect her hustle to try and allow us to be able to take bags in. She was thinking, let's take carrier bags, and if I get a carrier bag and I put my laptop in there, can I take it in? They said it's still bigger than an A4 piece of paper. Yeah, then no.
Well, is a laptop bigger than an A4 piece of paper?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, okay. I know yours is. Yours a big boy in it. It says as well, that Windows thing.
Very similar. Very close.
Big chunky thing in it. Yeah. What annoyed her the most?
The bag policy, I think, really pissed her off, because a lot of venues don't tend to do that, not on a weekday. They tend to have like the ability to put it under the seat. But if you think of the venue and where we were sat, the seats were already built in and they were very narrow. So you can't put things on the floor because people aren't going to have the ability to step over them, potentially fall into others. So I understand why they did it, but it just wasn't communicated very well ahead of time.
So that was my next question. So, because when you go to
no email was circulated. No.
Okay. Like Kevin Hart, you've been Kevin Hart show? You know, that no phone policy where you go in and they give you a little thing and you put it
on the bag. Yeah.
That thing. Yeah. So, the head of time thing, like sometimes look at it, sometimes even though they've got that little diagram with the dimensions, I have to get it out so I actually know what this is. Same now when you fly with all these different airlines, man, when you go to Europe as well. The bag policy, what can you take on? Like you just need to know it. And within our extended family groups, I'm the person who has to find do the screenshot from the thing, put it in the WhatsApp group, the family groups, and be like, everybody read this. Yeah, of course I do. Everyone read this. No tamasha when we get to the airport, okay? No taking Smart out. It's not happening. So,
efficient wonder.
Efficiency, baby. Although my efficiency this week, maybe I should put this part of my confession. Yeah. Are you done or?
I'm done with mine, man. I feel better. Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but this has come up now about the efficiency. So I think I was too efficient with something. And then when we halved the efficiency, it became more efficient. That sounds like a riddle, doesn't it? So I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Yeah. So on the landing, so imagine you're coming towards the studio here. You pass, a photo of me in my old tracksuit. I look like a man-child.
Yes.
On the wall. Yeah. And then you got the banister on the left where there's some dolly and stuff. That's the boiler cupboard. There's a couple of cupboards there. One of them being the boiler cupboard. And they're very, very tall doors. Now, previous owners, what they've done really well in most of the houses where there are doors that need to close flush, they've installed magnets. But they're a bit old. And so it wasn't, because it's such a tall door, it wasn't holding it firm. So my handyman was coming. He comes every so often. We have things that we do every year. make a list for him. And I was like, right, let's get these doors really flush, okay? Because it's just making that noise, and it's not nice.
It's not clean, and when you push it doesn't sit still. It pops out a little bit.
Exactly that, right? So we said, okay, we're not going to go for more magnets because it's obviously been tried. Why don't we go for the clicker thing where you push it in and it holds it, and then you
doesn't
open
work.
it, you push it out.
That wears out really quickly, by the way. Just a heads up.
So we have it in our walk-in wardrobe. It's been fine for 5 years. Here's fine. And here's what we've learned is when it's a very, very, very tall door. Now the guy who does my installation, he's like 6'4". So unless you're pressing really high, you can't actually disengage.
Oh, on the point of
mechanism.
contact.
Yeah, you can't disengage it. And so it just wasn't working. So he came, and so then we had another idea. Right, we'll double it up. So we had one on the top. I said, put one on the bottom as well. So I got home, and he was like, yeah, I've done it. I was like, okay, Tika. So I woke up to it and go, it's not opening. It's not opening. Why isn't it opening? This shouldn't be that hard. This should be seamless, right? And it's like, if Mum Shindy are going to do it as well, like, they have less force than me. Like, they need to be able to do it. And I was like, take it off. Take all of it off. And I'll look for another solution. So then I go to do something else. And he goes, right, what I've done now is I've taken off the top one. I've left the bottom one being the new one. So I've just got one thing now. And now it's working perfectly. So I was like, we half the efficiency. And now we've come to a solution. Shindy was happy about this, obviously.
Hang on. That was the grand story.
That was this story. That was not what I planned.
That was such a weak story.
Yeah. Oh no, it came to my head when you said efficiency, because Shindy was then gloating. She was like,
Oh my God.
she's like, sometimes you're just too efficient. And she'll quote this thing that I say to her all the time, right? Which is the difference between efficiency and productivity. You can be efficient in anything. For example, you could be really efficient at, I don't know, cutting a gajar or brushing your teeth.
Cutting a gadget. Okay.
Right. Or like, patting your head and doing this, whatever. You can be efficient at anything you want. Should you be efficient at these things is a different question. That's where productivity and efficiency are different things. And so she was happy just walking around the rest of the day and be like, yep, that's it. You got what you deserved, didn't you? Didn't work, did it? And then if you went back to basics, it did work. And then she was really happy about that case. But no, my actual confession was about when cleaning the house and dehoarding and just realizing that all Punjabi people are hoarders, man. And now, look, we know, obviously, you post a lot about what happens at CSK's house and the stories of what's found in the room of requirement and the funny juttiyan you find and the boxes of kapde. And I think we're all looking forward to your next...
My next adventure on the Instagram stories.
Yeah.
If you're not following us there, you're missing out, man. Weekend content when I'm home at mum and dad's.
Indy finds stuff.
I get some good stuff on there.
Really good stuff. Like, you can't make this stuff up, man. The Bully Book, guys, give a shout out to the Bully Book as well. That was from the house.
Brilliant book.
Amazing book. So, I discovered something which all Punjabi households seem to have, but I think is being phased out, definitely in our generation. So, in the vid, scenario for you. You're at CSK's house, you're at mum and dad's house, and some guests are going to be coming over. Okay? You're there, you're just doing whatever you do when you're there. Fixing things and solving problems, and the usual that Indy does. Indy got done. And actually, okay, I'll ask you a question before I give you the actual scenario. So, in preparation for guests coming, what is the usual thing that you guys do in your house? What's
clean?
Tell me what's tidy mode. Yes, you clean, but what does that mean?
Put everything away, but you don't put it away. You just reshuffle the positions of where it was.
As in, do you hide it out of sight, or you just literally just reshuffling it?
It's just reshuffling it away so the main table is clear.
Fine. So do you have a designated areas for guests? Like cordoned off
mean?
bits? Like, as in, is it your focus on living room and like, you're going to come through the door at Tiakabayo?
Oh, yes. They're going to be in there. Don't go in the other room.
Yeah. So cordoned off. Yeah. Ithe na jao, Indy nanga ithe. No, ithe nahi jana. Yeah, practice kar rahe, pata nahi ki karda nanga ho gaye.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got fine. Tell me what you do for smell, khushubu, scent.
What about the smell?
No, guests are coming around.
You like THOOF, man?
The bloody THOOF, man. The bloody THOOF. That's, oh, God. I have some cheer with THOOF, right?
I love it.
Oh, God. You're such a...
I love the smell of THOOF at the flat.
You don't like tarkiara beans. but the man loves THOOF, man. I just don't
No, man,
understand
the smell of
you.
THOOF is
No,
nice. It is
listen,
nice.
If you're gonna be a coconut, you should be consistent. But you're not consistent,
No, bro.
and you love
I
THOOF.
told you.
Why?
I'm not that. I'm not that guy.
You know that guy. Look, we have Febreze. Febreze, is it? What's the other one called? It's Febreze, isn't it? Right.
Yes,
you got the thing you put into the plug and it produces the scent. You have the wick spray thing.
A diffuser, yes.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. That. Why do we need bloody THOOF? Tell me.
Because it's
dude.
instant. It's such a powerful smell.
Instant. Everything else is instant. You spray. Shh. The spray comes out.
No. I mean, it's instantly powerful. It
Pungent.
overrides every
the key
smell.
word you're looking for is pungent.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Pungently
No,
powerful.
it is deadly, right? All right. When your family like them, or you do, clearly, since it sounds like you do as well. How many do you put in a one go?
One?
Bro, it is minimum 2, man. Dad always puts.
Oh,
2.
no. I'm on about the flat. At the flat, it's 1.
No.
At mum dad's, it's 3.
3. Oh my god.
Yeah. They have this
Chernobyl.
holder.
Oh my
They
god.
have this holder where it's like 3 that are popping out.
Wolverine.
okay.
Wolverine.
Yeah. Wolverine prongs right there, man. Let's go.
Oh shit, man. 3 is like, oh my god, you must be like gas tank, man, in there. My god. Do you open windows? Does it contain?
Okay, so you've been to mum dad's, right? It's got the kitchen and that's linked to the conservatory.
You go down the thing. You got the living room on the left here. You carry on.
Yeah,
to the
and you
kitchen
go
and
straight
go
down.
Yeah.
Straight down on the left is the kitchen, right?
Yeah,
But the kitchen is
yeah.
linked to a conservatory.
Yeah.
So when you say the window's open, the conservatory's kind of the window. Because it especially now, it's tonned in it, so it's going to open up.
Got it. So you get some diffusion going that way.
Yeah.
Fine. So we don't have these holder things. Maybe we should invest in these Wolverine holders. So
Yes.
Dad will find any random place, normally some butta, and just stick it in the soil. And the thing is, like, it's so pungent, like you said. Like, I'll walk around, I'm like, I can smell that shit. Where is it? I need to find it, extinguish it, bury it. I need to put this shit out, man. But now Dad's got this new smell, right? So he jacked this from Nani. It's it's lemongrass, right? It's basically, it sits on top of this lamp and he pours the lemongrass liquid in. But it's so potent, right? You need to dilute. It's supposed to be something like 1 part that and 9 parts of water. But even with that kind of dilution, it's still like, oh my god, like your eyes start hurting. It shouldn't hurt your eyes, but your eyes start hurting. And I was like, Dad, you need to water this shit down, man.
Holly, Dad. Nicely got.
So you got this lemongrass smell here, and then you got this stupid THOOF, right? So anyway, in my cleaning, what do I discover? About 50 boxes of THOOF unopened. And I'm like, Dad, please, I think you have more THOOF than we'll ever need. Please, I mean, just sell them. Now that I know you like them, I'm going to sell them to you.
Don't sell them to my dad, mate.
I'm gonna drop them off at the gate. I'm gonna leave them there.
Don't drop them off at dad's. Actually, if you did that, he'd think someone's trying to do nazar and burn it in the back. That's what he'd do.
And that would be exactly what I want. That's not a bad
I got the
idea.
desired outcome I wanted.
Exactly. All the THOOF being burned. Wow. That would send up a big smoke signal.
That's it.
But yeah, man. Desi hoarding,
Oof,
man.
man.
THOOF is stinky. THOOF is not effective. We have better methodologies now for smell. Please, let's use newer methodologies.
I like
for smell.
THOOF, man. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm trying to find my THOOF holder now, actually. I can bring it on screen if you want.
Please bring it.
Okay, here you go.
I'm going to have a swig of water, guys. You can listen to silence. Here we go.
This is multifunctional.
Oh my God. Wait there.
Have you got the same one? Nah, don't fuck around. You got the same one. Let me just look inside this. We got the same one! Same holders, baby! And you're telling me you don't like THOOF, but you got a THOOF holder. Don't do this.
So Shindy uses it for candles. She doesn't use it with THOOF.
Sanj uses it for THOOF. Look at that outstanding
Oh
THOOF.
my God. See, look. Mine's cake never been used. Look at yours. My God.
Look at the
It's like
ash
you got
in my
actual
people.
ashes
Look
in
at
there.
the ash.
My God. What have we cremated in
There
there?
you go.
Huh?
Oof. You know what? The smells getting to me now. Okay, I'll close it now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, but she uses that for candles. How?
Yeah. Just put the candles there and close it. Recycle
But
it.
if you close it, isn't the oxygen being suffocated and the candle goes out?
I think that when we have used it, we choose the fake candles. basically, when we're in the cinema room and we're doing Simran and we want a bit of mood lighting, we put the little fake battery operated candles, which he has for various decoration purposes, and that sits in there. Yeah. I could see your thing there, like, what are you guys doing? Like,
I was like, what are you on about, man?
What are you on about, bro? So, I want to say now on the podcast, guys, if you are in need of THOOF supplies, tusi aajo, message kar do sanu. I will willingly donate them to you pro bono, tod liye.
But he will not invite you to his house because that is TMI. He will meet you in a neutral location.
CSK's house would be appropriate.
As the Quezlet is a good neutral car park location.
For the exchange of the THOOF.
Yes, exchange of the THOOF.
That's
drop
great.
off.
Yes. We will accept follows and comments to podcast as payment. No problem.
Yes. Thank you.
Say and yeah, so Desi people, please stop hoarding. As you know, I'm going through my minimalism phase at the moment. I'm still doing it. So I'm actively purging things from the house. I'm actively purging other people's things. You know the best policy, Indy? If they don't know it's gone, they won't miss it. Great policy. great policy. And you know, but to be fair, I give people a chance. Literally, I will put them on notice, not telling them no, because that defeats the point. But literally, I'll look at something, I'm like, all right, if you're still there in 5-7 days, you don't know it exists, you haven't touched it, it's going. And then when that time comes,
if what's there in 5 to 7, if they don't notice within 5 to 7 days,
yeah,
ciao,
gone. Chakatama. And then you know what? Then I get the comments like, "Oh, it's looking pretty clean, isn't it? I don't know what it is. He's fine." I'm thinking it's Safai because Masala.
It's Safai because Savage Mavi over here, came out and just started cutting through everything like it meant nothing to him.
Do you know that
Ruthless Mavi?
Yeah,
Dr. Ruthless.
Mad Mavi.
Ooh, hello.
So you know that lady who had that cleaning show on Netflix?
The Chinese lady?
I think so. Chinese or Japanese, I can't remember. Maybe
okay.
Korean. Yeah, the ethnic lady.
Let me type it in.
Asian lady.
Sorry, continue.
How good do you think that would be as a Punjabi show, man? Punjabi edition.
Her name is Mary Kondo.
That's it.
Mary Kondo. Born in... she's Japanese.
Okay, good. Sounds right.
There you go.
So imagine we do that as a challenge segment, right? I'll go to... guys, you as listeners, if we nominate you, maybe we'll do a live. And based on that live, you've got someone who's basically Gandhana and the hoarder. And you'll get nominated. We will come. We'll film some footage, right? And I will just basically organize, Safai, efficient out that space. Wouldn't that be something?
What's the terms and conditions that apply?
Haven't thought that far. We will have Indy can keep whatever he finds. It's fine.
Goran's the ideas, man. I'm the how do we action this?
Yeah. It's fine. You need both people, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Yeah. The visionaries and the realists.
By the way, why are you still throwing off that someone called us brothers in a previous life on a comment? You were like proper analyzing it for hours.
Oh, no, that was like fake triggering. I just wanted to say it.
No,
that was like me. No, don't be upset about that. What's wrong with that? That was me bringing notice to it so that you could give notice to it. But I didn't do it.
But I already knew because I commented back.
What I mean is I could have done it in a nice way, like, oh, isn't this a nice comment? But I didn't need not nice way. But it is
try
nice.
And get a response from me.
Yeah, but I know it's a nice thing. It's just we're just playing.
But I didn't give you a response, did I?
I can't remember what you did. You said deal with it.
That means I didn't give you a response.
No, you did. You said something. You said deal with it or it's love or something about Nikki. You said something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's a good thing. It's never been said before though.
I mean, okay. But we think it, don't we?
We've never spoken about it. I found this today though.
What did you find? If it's an old picture of me, I swear to God, I'm going to cut your camera off.
It's a picture of us.
How old we talking?
Like staycation.
If you send me the staycation, and I'll be right there.
You know the thing we do with the postcard, the memories thing? So I was doing it today. I was printing the photo for it. I don't think you haven't posted this one. You could though.
Oh, I need to post all those. I got them on my phone. I'll do it. It's a good one.
So it's just like, oh, that's a nice photo, isn't it?
That's a good one. I got to post a batch of those. Actually, you know what? I might do it tomorrow morning.
Cool.
Now
Guys,
that
look
I'm
out.
here, I like it.
Yeah. So that was my confession. So Shindy was happy that I'd failed in my efficiency, but I'm a very efficient person, and sometimes you've got to fail to succeed. So that's that.
Remember the golden line, Karen.
Go
Do
on.
not major in minor things.
It's a good line, isn't it? You like that thing, don't you? Do you know what it is though? You get to a certain level.
I'm quoting your own goddamn back to
I
you.
know. But when you've majored in so many major things, it actually is sometimes nice just to major in a minor thing.
Yeah,
Because
is it?
It is sometimes. Like sometimes.
Do you know how arrogant you sound right now?
Listen, it's a podcast. I'm being honest. There are some days where, like, I've done so many big things, right? It's like that's done, like ticked off all these big things in different areas of my life. And like, do you know what? I just want to sit here. Like today, I was like, I want to stick this on this wall while watching the cricket, and I just want to just do it nicely and take my time. And I did. And I was like, it's a very minor thing, but it's important to me. And yeah.
I'm happy.
The problem is when you minor things all the time. That's when people don't make any progress.
Minor in minor things.
Yeah. Sorry.
So you're not making any progress in
Sorry,
minor
sorry.
things.
When you major in minor things, but all the time. That's the problem.
Mm.
If you don't understand the concept, guys, reach out. I'll explain to you in more detail. I've said it to Indy often enough now that he quotes it, which is good. But what I will say, you major in major things. So
Thank you, darling. I appreciate it.
the Pareto principle. I think you're applying it now.
Trying to.
Hmm.
Trying to.
Yeah.
Next segment. If I had a penny for every time you fiddle with that bloody mic, honestly.
I'm going to say something which I say to Shindy sometimes,
Go on.
but I'm going to say the right version for you.
Hmm.
If you want a different podcast partner, go and find one.
I can do, if you want. I can just find another doctor. This is why I chose doctor on the name. You understand that, right? You're very replaceable.
Please.
Don't you ever for a second get to thinking
Shindy,
irreplaceable.
she's looking at me, man. She's giving me evils.
Mm.
Shindy, we finished Confessions of Married Men. Okay, we're not doing that anymore.
You're getting daggers across the room, mate. That's what you get.
Yeah. Like sometimes, I'm like, Shindy, if you want a new husband, Lela. Okay. It's a great line, Indy.
You don't
should use
mean
it.
that.
Obviously, you never know. Mate, it's hyperbole, isn't it? But you got to say it.
You don't have to say it at all, actually.
No. You got to say it, man. You got to let them know, innit? That's right, mate.
No, innit? All right.
No,
okay.
innit?
No, yeah. No, man, yeah.
Go on then.
Hanji Paji's doctor has a question for me.
I do. So in the video. It's late-ish at night. Okay. Now, you guys don't have a TV in your bedroom, so I know you guys do reading time. That's your normal pre...
Or iPad time. Recently, mate, it's been
Okay,
iPad time.
okay,
I've not had
right.
time to read a book before bed.
Do you iPad time separately or together?
Most of the time, it's reruns of The Office. So if I'm in bed in time, I'll sit and watch it.
No, it's together though.
Yeah, but she'll watch it without me.
Yeah. Okay, but is there a situation where you watch separate things or not?
Very occasionally.
Very occasionally. All right, fine. Okay, you've done that. You've done your nighttime routine. You've done your potty. You've done your brush. Sab kuch ho gaya. You're in bed. Nini time. Your alarms are set. Whatever. And then you get that feeling. What's the feeling, Indy?
Really need a toilet.
Menu peshab aya. Your brain says it to you, right? And the thing is, the first time it comes, it's a very fleeting thought. It's like, your body's like, peshab karna? You're like, nay, I'm fine. Right? And then it goes, right? And then you're like, okay, let me think about the thought I was thinking about before the silly intrusive thought came in. Go back to like sleepy land, go back to cuddles, whatever you're doing, you go try and go back to it, right? And then again, peshab karna? I love how we're what's the word? Not annotating. What are we doing? What's the thing you do when you talk over the top?
Commentating.
Yes, that's it. Sorry, my brain is very slow today.
You're struggling today, bro.
Yeah. I know. I'm not on form today. So yeah, so I'm gonna love how we're giving commentary in Punjabi, but then now it's a bit more strong, and you feel like your body is smiling as it tells you because it knows. But you still ignore it, and you think, just if I get to sleep, I know I can make it till morning. And if it's really bad, this is the thing I learned from I actually learned this from Da Vinci Code. There was something in Da Vinci Code which talked about how certain, this is like pre-alarm clocks and things, how people used to wake up ready for battle. Do you know what it was? Do you know people used to wake up in the morning early? You know, like early morning battle, like you'd want to strike before sunrise to get the element of surprise. Do you know how they used to wake themselves up? Cool. So one technique the Red Indians, and I think Red Indians mainly used to use, was before they went to sleep, they used to drink 12 glasses of pani.
Fucking hell.
Which then put massive pressure on the kidneys at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Being like, oh, wake up because you need to piss. Very effective. I remember when I read it, I tried it, and I was like, yep, this definitely works.
Of course it's going to work, you donkey.
Well,
come on, man.
Glasses of pani. Do you know how much
You must have been pissing like a racehorse, honestly.
Do you know how many pani was? Now, the thing is...
Wait. There's levels to glasses. There's the Punjabi Nikki glass.
Nicky point. Yeah, bro, I'm not talking IKEA pint
Okay,
glass.
I'm checking. Yeah, you got an IKEA glass.
I don't know if you have told you before, but there is a condition called water intoxication. You actually die from drinking too much.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. If you drink, what is it, 5 liters of water in an hour or something?
I don't know. It's a lot. It is a lot that you have to do, but it is possible. But yeah, it was like the Nicky glass. The juice oil glass when the guests come around.
Go and sitting there like shut. Everybody, Bonnie.
Yeah, 12 of these, bro. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I tried it. Anyway, I digress. What was my point? Yeah, so you just think, if I can
I can write it out.
I'm going to be fine. Right?
I know why you think this as well.
Go on.
But people that don't know, look at the video of Gordon, right?
Yeah, distance. Distance
the
is a very
to the toilet is not nice.
It's
okay,
such a bad thing.
Mental barriers. Okay, Gordon has his positioning of the bed to, if you're looking dead onto his side now, he sleeps on the right, Shindy's on the left. So he has to do the long walk around and then go. Whereas if Shindy needs a loo in the night, she can just nip up and go straight out and she's good to go. This is why, Karan, my rule with Sanjeet is I sleep on the right-hand side in the bed because I know I need to go to the toilet in the night.
That's the reason.
I mean, it's normally because the entrance to every room is normally the toilet, the doors on the right that we've slept in, just by chance.
Why, as a young man, are you going to the bathroom in the middle of the night then?
Oh, mate, I still do now because I drink Barney to get through like hunger cravings in the night so I don't eat shit food. But then I realized I've drank too much Barney in the last like couple of hours. So come 3 o'clock in the morning, it's
okay.
Hello.
As in it's appropriate. That's what I mean. Okay, fine. Because as you get older, your prostate's going to get bigger. Your prostate gets bigger.
Yes, I know. Wait. Explain that to me about prostates. God, it gets bigger. I thought it shrinks.
No, it gets bigger. You get a condition called BPH. All happens to all men. Not all men will get prostate cancer, but most men will get BPH, benign prostate hyperplasia. Prostate gets bigger. What that means is when you start to wee, people get things like hesitancy, so they want to go, but it doesn't come, or they get poor flow. The main problem is they don't empty fully, which means that you've done a piss, it's stopped, you think that's the end of it, but it's not. And so what that means is inevitably they have to then keep going, and most men will go at the end of the night. A little trick though, a little hack, I think I've said this before, is you force yourself to empty your bladder. So whenever you know the handheld bidets, which you're going to get installed, the bum cleaner, right? Whenever you use it and you've done number 2, whatever, and you're cleaning your bum, even if you've already done number 1 whilst doing number 2, the action of just using that on your backside just means you get even more emptying of number 1.
Okay.
Yeah, so I found it very effective. Even if you don't need number 2, if you just sit down before going to bed, just spray. Again, you shouldn't need it at our age, but for older men.
What if you did things like Kegels?
Yeah, okay.
Would that help?
That could help. That could definitely help.
Yeah?
Yeah. Is that something you'd want to do?
No, because I'm thinking if I'm going to get to that age and I need to go for a piss all the time, I'm thinking, okay, I'll probably have to do Kegel exercises now to keep me going so I can not need to piss every night and have a good night's sleep.
Yes, but just you need to force yourself to empty. I think that's what men need to focus on. Force yourself
but to force yourself to empty is all about, well, the purpose of Kegels, right, is to make sure that your flow is clean, like everything's cuddly, so you have full control over it, so therefore you are empty.
Yes. The easy way is just trick your mind, which is like when you hear a running tap, you want to wee. So you got to condition yourself to weeing. That's why that bum spray is interesting. It's because just having the tap on, some men don't go. Like in hospital sometimes when if we say, oh, look, we're going to have to catheterize you, and obviously nobody wants a catheter We'll give them like a chance, and then they'll listen to rain music, or they'll put the tap on to see if they go. But the bomb thing, much more effective.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, we digress. What were we talking about?
You resisting the urge, and then 3 o'clock in the morning you're paying that debt.
So yeah. No, but the thing is, it's never that long. It's literally, you'll make it maybe 20, 30 minutes. And then the thing is, when you decide, right then, all right then, I'll go for a wee then. You put me, it's like you're angry
at yourself.
But who are you angry? Exactly, like who are you angry at? You're just angry at like the early version of yourself who's like, nay, the woman, nahi jana. And then you stomp off in the middle of the night to do this piss, and then you like, I know you have your night thing on. What we have is we have like a night light, so we don't put the main bathroom light on. But I'm just like, this is just so silly, and you just feel so silly for needing to peshab, and then your body's saying, just a gloating little person, isn't it? And so, yeah, my question to you is, what's that conversation? What's the inner conversation you have with yourself? Do you have like a tactic? Do you have a strategy? Do you have like, I'll give it this amount of time? Are you like, yep, got the urge, go? Like, what's
it happened to me last night, I feel like I got into bed.
Tell me the context.
I thought I went to sleep, and I don't know what time I woke up, but I got up and went for a piss because I thought it's weird. It's like you've been in my head. Because yesterday I got back from Munya and I thought I needed a piss. Sandra went to the toilet first, and I was like, I'm good, I don't need to go. Cleaned my teeth, had a shower, ready for bed. I got into bed. I was like, I don't need a toilet. And then a couple of hours later, it was like, hello, remember that piss you owed? Off you go. And I'm like, oh, fuck's sake. Okay, great. And I don't know what time I fully woke up to go and do it. It might have been 10 minutes after I got into bed. In my head, it felt like hours later. So there you have it. But the dialogue is always that. But in the morning, if it hits me at 5 o'clock in the morning, I know that I can ride it out for like 2-3 more hours. And I'm like, you know what? You can get a little bit more ninny time in here. And then I use it as an alarm clock later because I'm like, okay, I really got to go now, which means I'm out of bed, which means my day started.
You've left it too long when... Obviously, the good feeling when you have full bladder is obviously when you release that pressure and you start weighing, right? But when you've left it too long, you've emptied your bladder, had that 2-minute piss, your eyes are watering, but you still got pain in your bladder.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this isn't good. Yeah,
I overegged it.
I left this way too long. It's basically there's so much stretch on your bladder. And
close to a UTI, basically.
Yeah. So, that was my question about inner dialogues and peshab time and your body just, next time I reckon you'll hear it now in Punjabi. Peshab karna, peshab hai tenu, aja, peshab kar la, come on,
off you go, put the go,
good away,
go on. Make sure you do sit down, baby. Go on.
I can't remember.
Eyes semi-closed.
Are you stand up or a sit down in the night?
Mate, in the night you gotta sit down. If you're standing up in the middle of the night, what are you doing? You're putting too much thought into this. You just want to sit there, let nature take its course, and then get up and go.
You know what you got to do?
Oh, mate, no one's putting 2 hands on the wall. And by the way, ladies, no guy's washing his hands after that first in the night either. He's flushing that and he's going straight back to bed. That's it.
Bro, talk for yourself, man.
I'm telling you the truth, bro.
You doing a little shaky.
Yeah, shake it off a few times and that's it. All right? Going straight back to bed.
Shindy? Indy says, if he needs a wee in the night and he's reluctantly going to do it, he doesn't wash his hands.
No.
She's not happy.
That's fine.
She's giving me a look to give you a look. She's reconsidering her position, your friendship.
That's fine.
She's going to have word with Sanj.
That's fine. You can just accept me for who I am. How about that?
Indy said accept him for who he is. And you two are the same, remember? So... I think she's look really well. Okay, this is good. Finally, some clash of Shindy and Indy. Very good. Right, what's your question?
My question is in a different direction from peshabing in the night. It's about India versus Pakistan and the cricket. So, what I want to understand is quite a few things here. Number one,
quite a few things. Halia bro, list, didn't he? Quite a few things. My friend Karan seems to know because he watches cricket, so I'm going to ask him everything about cricket.
All the time.
Chal.
Why do we have, as British Indians, more of an affinity? Let me start this again. Why do British Indians have more of an affinity towards supporting India versus England? Only in cricket, not in any other sport. And then the next layer to that is...
Yeah, one question at a time.
Okay.
Unless the second part is...
The second part's kind of interlinked. The second part is... The level of hatred between India and Pakistan is really overhyped. And I don't think it needs to be that severe, personally. It gets really personal. And I just think it was one nation at one point. You guys are taking this too far.
Okay. It is the biggest rivalry on earth. There's no bigger derby than India-Pakistan. Any sport. So I think somebody spoke to Joe Rogan about it when they were telling about Virat Kohli. Have you seen that clip?
Probably.
There's a clip where he's like, this dude, I don't know if he's a basketball player. It's basically, he was saying, I was in India. There's a guy there called King Kohli. He's got about 200 million Instagram subs, more than, King James. Only third to Messi and Ronaldo. Like, it's big, right? And he said, I think, last year when I was in Athens, India-Pakistan were playing in the cricket T20 World Cup in Australia. And I can't remember what the pay-per-view equivalents or whatever. The number of eyes on that match was not matched by the Super Bowl 10 times, not 10 times Super Bowl. A lot of times Super Bowl though. It's big. It's very big. So, but here's the thing. The hatred that exists, I have found, is more at a supporter level. Whereas the actual players themselves have a lot of respect for each other. Like, they play hard. Yeah. But all cricketers play hard against each other. But definitely now, like, you'll see clips of Virat Kohli and, he's talking to Pakistan bowlers and stuff. And there isn't that level of, I don't feel there's that level of hate anymore. But the supporters, wow, like they call for blood, man. Like, I
incredibly tribal.
Yeah, like I saw a clip. I think it's from that India-Pakistan. No, was it this India-Pakistan game? It was a different India-Pakistan game. And they're in some sort of hotel. And, like where you go somewhere to watch a match. It wasn't a pub, though. It was somewhere else. And I think India got a wicket. India's support was much bigger. India were cheering. And then, Pakistan were on their side or whatever. And someone said something to someone. He goes, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And he just got really, really heated really quickly. It's like, just chill out, man. So, yeah, the hatred exists. It's definitely from a supporter level rather than a player level. It's not helped by films like Border. Right? So historically, there was just so many
Sunny
films.
Deol, man.
Sunny Deol, right? This wearing his pug, right? So did you see that comment about, we did that, that was a really interesting take by somebody. So guys, context, we did a clip where we were talking about dating as a thing, as somebody who's the star wearing, pug wearing. And obviously we referenced the pre-Diljit era. And somebody been there put, pre-Diljit is basically just Sunny Deol in Border. That was the only pug reference. I was like, yeah, that's actually true. But yeah, and obviously, look, Border and LOC, Cargill, and all these like Bollywood films that are made are based on historical events. It's not like they're just saying, let's just make India-Pakistan made up wars. They are based on real things, but I feel like that kind of rivalry, from a military kind of point of view, then carries over into kind of sportland. So I think that's why that dushmani exists. But yeah, it's the biggest derby on earth. There's nothing that comes close to it. India did win recently. It's quite comfortable. But then India lost last year in the T20 to Pakistan.
So why do British Indians and British Pakistanis have that closeness to it? Or that just that deep closeness to it, even though a lot of us don't go to India very often.
Yeah, so your question more is, why don't we support England? That's the question.
No, it's not why don't we support England. It's why is our support so staunch compared to other sports where we're a bit like, okay, England are in the football, we've done a bit of shit, whatever. But when it's India, Pakistan, it's, whoa, this is very, very important to us.
Yeah, it feels really personal, doesn't it? I don't know, because I think, although we're both British, right? You don't watch that much cricket, but I do. See, I grew up supporting just India until someone was like, well, why don't you support England? I was like, yeah, there's not a good reason why I don't support England. So now I do support England as well in cricket. I'm British, I live here, I support England. But I feel like the support of India comes from, these people look like us. This is where we're originally from. Hence, this is why we support. I do pick up on your point there. Now, I have been to India a lot of times. Not that I feel that makes me more of a worthy supporter than somebody who hasn't been to India
Yeah.
that many times. I don't think that is relevant in terms of why you support them, but I think it is to do with my family from there. I still might have family there. These people look like me. Represents my culture. I don't know that. I think that's where it comes from. But you're right. It's very interesting. I find that there are people who don't watch cricket, but as soon as India Pakistan come,
They pay attention.
yeah, and like
I
properly.
pay attention. I don't know why, but I do.
They have the tops on, and they're really going for it. And it's like, bro, you don't know anything about cricket, man. But you just. But for some people, cricket is just a jolly, man. It's like they don't even understand the game properly.
Yeah,
it's just a day out,
just
day
a piss up,
whatever. There's some people like you see them in the crowds, man. People aren't pissed, but they go there and they're just doing pungal all day, playing all day, the Bharatami, like fine, man. But someone like me, like, when I go, got my headpiece in, my friend's there, my friend's not there. Like, okay, we're talking in between, but really, I just want to watch the game, man. The game is a beautiful thing. Yeah, India Pakistan.
It's a special rivalry. Don't get me wrong.
It's a special rivalry, but you know the other thing is from a Punjabi perspective now. I mean,
Conflicting.
I met a guy actually yesterday, in a work setting, and Muslim guy, and came in, he goes, Paji, I was like, Hanji, and he was like, I always give the option, as you know, English kal karni hai, Punjabi kal karni. Would you like to speak English or Punjabi? He's a Punjabi, and he was, Muslim Punjabi. He's like from Jalandhar, and so I was like, okay, cool. And then another guy came in. He's from what is Pakistan, but was Punjab before, so he's Punjabi.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have a lot more similarity with you guys, man, irrespective whether you're from Pakistan or India, because we're from Punjab, and we speak Punjabi, and our culture is very similar. So, yeah.
And that level of closeness to people who are Punjabi. For us, I feel like it's not more special, but there's probably more closeness attached to it or more sensitivity, because the partition obviously happened amongst our border of Punjab, which got split into, and you can see the people who were moved across between one and the other. We share a lot more in common than we do actually against each other. So it's a bit like, hang on, even though you're from Pakistan and I'm from India, we actually were the same place once upon a time and it actually all connected. So really there shouldn't be this level of beef. But then also the other flip side is, if your family were from Pakistan and they lived there and then they migrated to India, should you not still feel an affinity towards Pakistan winning as well? Because that's where your family were, and vice versa. If your family was from India, but you moved to Pakistan. So I'm thinking there's a lot of layers to it that makes me feel really conflicted if I'm going to sit here and analyze the deep hatred or the deep emotion towards it. I feel really odd about it now. Over the years, I used to just think, go India, or
Default
maybe
position.
Go England. But then when it came to England versus India, kids would ask me in school who you support, and I'm like, either, because whoever wins, I get happy. That's the best way of saying it. But now I'm older, I think about it, I'm like, actually, a lot more to do with colonialism, a lot more to do with the British coming over and changing things up. But I'm really trying to think how I feel about it, and I don't actually know. Probably sounds really sad, but I'm really conflicted, because it's, on the one hand, you want to be loyal to your home nation, which is England, but you want to be loyal to your home nation, India, which was screwed over by the place you live in. It's really deep rooted. There's so many layers to it.
That's what you do, Indy, like you do. You just become a neutral spectator and you're like, I'll just enjoy the game.
No, I do that too. But I'm fascinated with how people who don't give a fuck about any sport, when it comes to cricket, it comes out in them big time. There's a mate of mine who's into football, never seen him post about cricket. And he wrote on the day India versus Pakistan, come on, India. And I'm like, geez, I've never heard you post about cricket ever. What is going on?
Yeah.
And he's older than me.
Why do you feel the need? That's the thing. I think people definitely get caught up. They're not proper cricket fans, which is fine. You don't have to be, but I don't think they study their motivations. They definitely just jump on the hype.
Yeah.
But you're right. As you get older, you look at these things and they're not as easy. Like, I think the default position as you grow up is hate Pakistan. And
yes, it is.
Yeah, and the hatred maybe comes from cricket, but then it extends into, well, I don't like Pakistani people.
Yes, it did do that to me as a kid, and I didn't like that growing up.
I think it is for most people. It's not a good thing. It's really, really not a good thing. Because then you get older, and like I said, like we just said, you actually realize there's more similarity.
Yeah.
And you're like, so, and then you question, well, where does the hatred come from? What's it based on? Well, okay, so there's no need for the hatred. I was kind of conditioned into hatred based on what I was seeing my peers and whatever other people say. And they're like, no, I don't need to be like that.
And parts of it were also like embedded in you, which is like, oh, they're Muslim, they're bad, we're sick, we're good. And I'm like, listen, don't mix these together now. Stop conflating them because they are not the same. You're now mixing religion with cultural values, and those are complex cultural values. It's not clear. We all lived in harmony with each other once upon a time. So I don't see why this is so charged towards like, no, they're Pakistani, they're Muslim, therefore you can't like them. I've got loads of mates now who are Pakistani Muslim, and they're some of my closest friends. And I look at them and I think, I love you guys to bits, man. Probably more than I spend more of my time with you guys than I do with other friends of mine who are Indian, Punjabi. So to me, it means nothing now, but I'm at an age where I can understand that. But you can see how a kid can potentially be pushed in that really bad direction early on without even intending to. And you've done that to a younger generation, and they don't understand it until they're much older, and then they start looking around and maybe start questioning themselves. But to question yourself, you need that self-awareness in you to ask, why do I think this? And if you're around people who don't think that way, when are you ever going to break out of it?
And that, my friend, is the journey of life. So yes, you need to have meaningful experiences. You need to have experiences that challenge your thinking. That's part of growing up, man. You grow up in life and you have values which you've essentially, they're extrinsic values. They come from power observation. They come from what you're told. They come from, so by told, I mean what you learn in school, what your parents tell you, what your friends tell you. And this is on everything. This isn't just how we should view Pakistani people. This is how we view money, what success is in life, what happiness looks like, everything. And then you have experience in your life. And then based on that experience, you start to reflect and think, do these things that I've learned that have served me so far still serve me going forward? The answer in most cases is it's not altogether bad. It's now, how do I amalgamate what the new and the old, and how do I make that something into something that actually serves me going forward?
Yeah.
But you need an impetus to actually do that work. And the impetus for most people is some point of chaos. Something happens. This obviously didn't work for me. This didn't serve me. Then, like you said, so why do I think this? Where does that come from? So challenge status quo. What's the opposite side? Oh, okay. Now I've found some clarity. And that's where clarity comes from.
I'd also love to talk to someone who's a Muslim from India, and then see how they feel about it. Because are they influenced by people who feel like, okay, because I'm Muslim, I must support Pakistan, even though I'm from India for years.
Yeah, and we've got Muslim Indian cricketers.
Yeah,
and they sometimes, if they're doing really well, we love you, Indian, and when you're not doing very well, they get villainized.
Yeah, straight up immediately.
And that's obviously not right. And obviously the other Indian cricketers will be like, that's not right, and they'll call it out and be like, stop this bullshit. And India is like that, man. India is like really toxic. Like, if you are winning, man, you are the gods, and we will touch your feet. But if you're losing, we're gonna get the effigies, and we're gonna burn them, and all the nuzz that goes onto you, and this is shit. And because the expectation is just so high when you're the Indian cricket team, it's their sport. It's not like football. Hockey, they're very good at as well.
Yeah.
But this is like, they invest, grassroots level. The population is this. You should therefore produce, 11 players out of 1 billion plus people. I think it was an Australian cricketer said it. He said, you got to be special to be picked out of 1 billion.
Yeah,
to play for India, which means by that process, you're getting the best.
Mm-hmm.
And, India at the moment doing very well in the World Cup. They've got a very strong team.
The World Cup's based in India, right? This year.
Yeah. Last time it was in India was 2011, where India won as well. That was the second World Cup, so this would be...
Yes, I remember that. Because they played Sri Lanka in the final, right?
Yeah. Exactly that.
And again, India played Pakistan late on in that. That was when I was in uni, and I really saw this whole thing clash. I went to a university that was... I went to Queen Mary, which has a massive Muslim majority there. But I saw how people were really against each other. They had to watch it in separate rooms. You couldn't have people together. You couldn't have India fans and Pakistan fans in one room. It was that toxic.
That was at Mohali. That was in Chandigarh. That was a fiery match. Because those are days where there's a point in that game. Indian didn't score that many. It's 260, low scoring game. And Yuvraj Singh, who ended up being player of the tournament, he gets his wicket at one point. He bowls somebody from Pakistan team, and then he just points to the dressing room. He's like,
"Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah."
That's when there used to be fiery exchanges, man. Like I said, I'd say the India-Pakistan teams are a lot more friendly now. They play hard, but there's definitely a lot more respect at their level, and the fans just need to chill out. I think the other point you raised, which is a good point, growing up, having this hatred because
you're taught to hate the opposition in that way. But when you look back on it and you understand colonialism and how it was drawn out, you learn that it's no one's fault and it's not down to any sort of set problem within us as people. We were just divided by the British people or the British rulers at the time. And then that's still running to this day.
If anybody wants to watch a film on this, watch The Last Viceroy of India. They explain this really well. There's a scene in there where they're actually dividing the map, and you see basically the Viceroy, he has concern. He's like, this isn't based on anything, what you're doing. And the other, the architects, whoever doing it, are just like, let's just draw a line down here. That's it, and that'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like everything theoretical, but not thinking about the actual people who have to migrate and how that's going to affect them.
I'm hoping to get some historians on to talk about this one day on the pod, just so we can really understand it and break it down to people at like a simple, digestible level, that people can just tune in and say, this is what happened, this is how it occurred, bam, I know.
And this is
then
the impact.
You're educated.
Because we've grown up, it's already happened. So, my Nana Ji, for example, he was born in Pakistan.
Okay.
His original home was in Pakistan. And if you watch the film Gadar and you see those trains and all the killing and all the thing that happened, he was on that train. So when we watched Gadar, I didn't know this, but he was after it. He was like, "Yeah, I was on that train. I had to pretend I was dead. I had someone else's blood on me to pretend I was dead. Like, it's a real thing." And he was like, "We were fine. We were happy. Like, there was no issue." There were three mulks meaning dharams or religions. So the Hindu, Muslim, and Sikh were all coinciding together, man. And you had Punjabi people who were Punjabi, irrespective of their belief system. Which is why, I think my default position growing up is I thought about it actually when I'm watching India Pakistan now. 2003 World Cup, I remember being in the old house and I was watching India Pakistan and Zahir Khan got the first wicket and I celebrated like crazy, like yes, come on, get him out. I used to get really aggressive.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about it. I was like, but why? Like, just no need. There's no need. When you really, the point you're making there is when you really study history and you learn about context and you understand motivations and where those motivations are coming from. Look, we're looking at what's happening now, Israel, Palestine, right? Like, again, there's a lot there, man. And unless you really look at it and try and understand from both sides, it's not simple. There's nothing simple. It's not like, you kill this person, therefore I should hate you and you're right and you're wrong. This concept of right and wrong is a very nuanced thing, depending on who you are and what your
it's very complicated.
Very, very complicated. And I think anybody who has an opinion on these things should start with that. That should be the first thing you should say. Having an opinion is fine, but you have to have acknowledgement of this is very complicated first, and then give your take or whatever.
To pick up off we said from last week on that, I'm just going to tie that bit up and come back to the India point. I said I couldn't find a video on it or an explainer. There was one. Go onto YouTube, type in "The Rest is Politics," type in Rory Stewart and Israel, and it will tell you a breakdown of how the conflict occurred within about 11 minutes. It's a very basic explainer.
Is it the animated?
It's not
one?
in depth. Sorry?
Is it animated? Is that one?
No, it's just him explaining it word for word, but he explains it in such a good way that I understood it. So that's one that people could listen to if you just want a 12-minute breakdown of what happened. It's not faultless. He even says himself, this is very simplified. And he said, I'm sorry I'm missing bits out, but this is the quickest way that I can summarize what happened and how we got here today. That really helped me get my head around stuff. So check that out. Right, back to the point. I'll wrap this up. Just one last thing.
Yeah.
How did Monty Panesar feel for all those years?
What do you mean?
Being Indian, born in the UK, but playing for England.
Still don't understand your question. Like, he doesn't have a choice. He can't play for India.
No, as in he must have felt conflicted in some way, knowing that he's going to get every single swear thrown at him by his own people for playing for England. But that doesn't make you less of an Indian either by
No,
heritage. But you can bet your bottom dollar that he's probably still not liked, I'd say, by people from India, maybe if you went back.
Because I know I used to speak to him quite often, but I know he goes back now for these like kind of legend series where so basically legends of the game, and they're always in India, these super series. And he's quite well liked. Like he's doing a bit of journalism now, and I think in his position, the only way he can play for India is if he gets citizenship, so nationality change.
Okay.
So it's kind of like their position as well. So we're going to blame you for being born in England and being brown. So I understand your point. There probably are some idiots like that, but I don't think.
Did you go to any of those games that he ever played in?
Monty, yeah, I think maybe I went to one Ashes.
When he was standing near the boundary, I knew people who went and they said he was getting it from everyone. Every swear word, your mother this, your mother that, in English and in Punjabi. And it's like, whoa.
You mean India, England?
Yeah, India, England. He would get it in the neck non-stop.
Yeah, again, that's not right either. But then look, people are people, man. And if we've seen anything in the last few weeks, these conflicts, like I was listening to Ben Shapiro this morning and he was talking to Piers Morgan. And he said, part of the problem is, both sides, is when you're assuming that people are rational. As in, what we think is normal, we think that everyone thinks is like that is normal. And he was talking in the context of, you don't just kill women and children like it's nothing, for example. And so in the same thing, like we've had this discussion, like we just said, okay, Monty Panesar is born here. It's not his fault he's born here. He represents England. He's a professional cricketer. What then gives you the right then to hurl abuse at him? Like why would you do that? Why would you do that? It's not normal, is it? But there were just people out there, man, who just... I pity people like that now. It's like when somebody comes to me and they're upset about something and they'll tell me why. And they'll tell me what that person said. I'm like, that person has nothing, man. You should pity them as well. It's not right. You should definitely call them out, but they just have nothing. And this is their little exhibition of power. So always, guys, when you are seeing this or it's happening to you, try and... It's hard to do sometimes at the time, maybe do afterwards, but separate the two things. What are the motivations of this person here? Because most of the time, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People, drop us a comment and tell us, because I'm open to everyone's thoughts on this. I want to get everyone's opinions. Maybe you've got a different take than me and Doctor haven't got. That'd be super appreciated. So please comment below, interact with the poll. I'll set the poll up so that it will be about this. Or if you want, you can DM us your thoughts on Indian Doctor on Instagram. But obviously a comment is welcome if you're on YouTube as well. We'll jump into the next segment. A little bit more to touch on with this India-Pakistan conflict. You'll understand why. What's happening, Doctor? If you say the weather, swear to God.
What's your problem, man? The weather is a very important part of the British culture.
Bro, okay. I know.
We love discussing weather.
I know you're about to say it. You're like,
no, I wasn't going to say
it.
Wow. It's time in the morning, right? And then get out of work and I'm like, oh, bloody warm again. Like, like double summer.
Fuck, I
don't like it. Anyway, no, what's happening is Cricket World Cup. Cricket World Cup's happening. There's been some
3
big
weeks
upsets.
in a row. Yep.
England has lost to Afghanistan.
Did they today?
No, like 2-3 days ago. Big though.
Okay.
They're like, shit. Well,
so what happens now? Do England not make it?
No. It's the group stages. It's fine. It's all point system, and then the top 4 go through semi-finals. So it's a long group phase. So everyone's got multiple games. But when you go into a tournament, there's the teams where you're like, these should be my easy wins. Teams that people don't expect to do well. So you got your Netherlands are in there. You've got Afghanistan. You've got Bangladesh to some extent. And then you got the big boys. So you got India, England, Australia. Then you got Sri Lanka, South Africa. Yeah. So Pakistan always
New Zealand.
Dark horses. New Zealand are dark horses. So there are the teams where you expect to win, right? Now, England won the World Cup 4 years ago. On the way to winning, they lost 3 games in the kind of group stages. And the thing with England sometimes is they almost seem to need to be in a
Pressure
Sims
cooker.
Sims football, isn't it? Need to win situation, knockout kind of game. They seem to just perform then, and then they get momentum, and then they just tend to win. When they're too relaxed, they just don't seem to do well. But so they lost, and then today South Africa, who basically whooping everybody, they lost to Netherlands today, and that was Netherlands got a sing as well.
Have they?
Yeah, Patka Singh, man, proper gangster, man. Ties it like not Harbhajan style. He ties the Patka like down. And it must be his family because they kept showing like the supporters, the family, and there's just a Sardar there sitting with the star on. I was like, yes,
Good.
yes, man, really good, man. Big respect, man. Took a good catch today as well.
I wonder if he's going to get hate from the Indian fans as well when he plays there.
He's like, I'm from Netherlands, man. What do you want me to do? Yeah, maybe, you know. Yeah, I'm just enjoying, man. It's just nice. It's nice when you have a live sport on. And the thing is, when you get older, I don't know about you, like, all right, there's some games, but even India, Pakistan, man, like, I was watching it, but I knew I had stuff to do, so I still had to do it. It's very rare. Like, I will
You get to sit down and watch the full game.
Yeah, and if
I feel like this on weekends all the time. I want to sit down. In my head, I've got the best weekend ever planned.
Right.
I'm going to watch every football game. I'm going to watch every F1 event.
Right.
And then I get to watch maybe a half of one. And then I have to settle for that. And I'm like, that was a good return.
Yeah, no, I don't mind though. The thing is, what I'm saying is though, I like the idea that I can kind of watch it and be aware whilst I'm doing things. Otherwise, if you have long periods where you're just not doing anything, especially at our level, I mean age, you just haven't, you're not going to get, loads and loads of extra time just to be doing all these errands. So you just need to learn how to do both.
Yeah.
You find. But I like having it, so I can just flip it on at any time. It's going to be there. There's going to be some replay. And what I love about when it's these events is everyone's got a podcast about the post-analysis now. I never used to be like this now, but I actually really enjoy the post-analysis and the pre-analysis obviously as well. So it's just a continuous thing. I'm just in a happy place.
The world of content.
World of content. It's good content. It's really good content, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, what's happening with you?
So obviously I saw Munya. I was meant to save that for the next segment.
Oh, that didn't work very well today, David.
But I thought I'd put it forward. So I saw another play last week, which you called me at, by the way, remember? Hey, you called me and I couldn't pick up the phone.
I was at an event. My wife was occupied. I had no one to talk to. It was one of those events. And this is the reason, like I said, I only like going to events where I'm going to be one of the last people at these events.
So why did you go to this event?
That's close to the person. But like close in the way where, like say you go to a stag, but you know that person in a different way to all the other mates. So you're going to be the one on his own. So one of those scenarios where it's like, it's important for you to go, you guys have got a connection one-on-one, but you don't really know his other circles. It's one of those kind of ones.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, so what should I do? I was like, I'll ring Indy. He was always just like doing work and doing things.
I'm normally Velle, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just ring him. We'll just talk about podcast stuff. He always wants to talk to me about stuff and then never have time for him. But now I have time for him, so I'll ring him. And what do I know? He just doesn't answer the phone and I'm really hurt. And I just stand there and I'm like, all right, let's do comments here. So I start going through and scrolling back and like, all right, let's go like 3 weeks before I didn't reply to this comment. Sometimes like Indy's already replied, but I'll also reply. I'll add a comment.
Yeah.
You see me do that as well.
Yeah.
I want to give my 2 piece on this as well. So it's so funny. I was doing some replying yesterday, on the start one.
Yeah.
Shindy's reading it. She was like, I can tell this is you. Indy doesn't speak like this. There's one person who was like, yeah. I think it was somebody who said, I was married to a Gujarati person and now I'm married to a singer and I love this guy's the star.
And I love sings. Yeah.
And I was like, you go, girl.
I'd never say that.
I know.
I would never ever say that.
She was like, why did you say that? I was like, it's funny. And all these people are there like liking it and loving it. Oh, there you go. You go, girl. It was just really funny, man. But anyway, yes, you went to
getting his Barbie flex on. Yeah.
Nice. I rang you. You didn't answer the phone. That was last week. You went to watch a play about Gandhi.
I watched a play and the play was called The Father and the Assassin. It's about Gandhi and his assassin. Quickly
give people the context because I can't actually remember the history. He was assassinated. Who was the person?
Yes. It was a Hindu nationalist basically who assassinated him.
And what was his rationale?
It's complicated, man. It's not linear. Basically, he didn't like the message of what Gandhi was standing for. It was meant to be, let's do one true India, but neither of them really got that. And then it turns into, okay, the India and Pakistan division. With that also comes other problems, and he didn't like the way how he tried Gandhi's methods himself, and it didn't get him anywhere with his protest functions or anything like that. He didn't have the same platform or the same kind of following, so he thought he was a bit of a falsity. So that kind of festers for years and years and years, and then eventually he assassinates him. So there you go.
What happens to the assassin?
He gets hung.
Hung, okay. Fine.
Yeah, he gets hung. So I watched it, and I'm not really a fan of Gandhi, I'll be honest. I've read some post-humorous stuff about him. That's not the most flattering. So I'm like, okay. But people in India love him, so I'm not going to say anything bad. But if you want to read it, go and read it. He wasn't as nice a person as people made it out to be, and the way they kept calling him father, etc. Okay, I get it.
I think your point is he has this, what appears to be a squeaky clean image.
He's not squeaky clean at all, no.
That's
and that image is never shown. It wasn't shown in the play either, which was a bit upsetting because I thought, this play, you know the facts now. You could sprinkle a little bit of his flawed character into it, but they didn't.
What was the message of the play? What was the point of the play? Because it depends. When you look at history, it depends what angle you're trying to focus light on. What was the point?
The angle of the play was basically to show what times were like under Gandhi, what he was trying to get, but also trying to explain how there was like a radical part of India that was developing with nationalism. And this nationalist basically assassinating Gandhi in
so
his own terms.
So was it more his story?
It was his story,
motivation.
But it was also following the footsteps of what Gandhi did because that impacted his story. See what I mean?
So then let's say if that was kind of, if they mixed in, you know, the weird stuff he did, the adultery and, you know, the sleeping with women, how do you think that furthers the story that they're trying to tell?
Because it shows the flawed character of what he was and what he did on the side as well.
But that sounds like you just want people to be aware of that nature and more. Sounds like you just want to expose him, but what does it add?
Let me add another layer to this. So this was held at the hang on, let me find the name of the place. Wait there one sec. That's it.
You went, hang on.
The father and the assassin. Right, it was held at, where is it held at? London Theatre. The National Theatre.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, it's held at the National Theatre, which kind of means there's going to be a bit of a twist on it that's more palatable for those that aren't Indian. It's going to be made for British people to understand it in a better way. So there's a lot of emphasis placed on the British side of it and how the British came in and kind of ruined stuff. There wasn't much in terms of helping people understand the deeper issues that were at play in India as well. It was the British did X, therefore we will do Y. And that was a lot of the common theme that ran through it. Me personally, I was watching it and I was thinking, this could have been done better. There's more to it that you can give. But I understand that if you're given notes at a place like the British Theatre and a lot of your audience is not going to be me, it's going to be white people who go to that theatre. You have to make it acceptable or want to be watched by that group of people.
Exactly.
So
you need to cater
I
to the
still
audience.
feel you can show Gandhi in a flawed light. The same way how in films now with black culture, let's take Martin Luther King. They show his adultery side coming out a lot and how he cheated on his missus all the time. They show that now in his depictions because they're like, he wasn't perfect, he was flawed. The same thing kind of should be shown to it because there's facts to back it up now. It's not like it was made up. And that's what was kind of lacking for it from my perspective. One thing they did show well, which I'll give credit for, was the partition. They showed how it was done in a dodgy way. They showed how it was rushed. They showed the conflict that arose from it, the riots, all that stuff. And I thought that was done very well. And they kind of showed it in a pretty positive light. So, yeah, it was a positive light. That's probably the wrong way. They showed it in the most suitable way you can, which is
shed light on.
Which is this is how it happened. It was some parts were really obtuse. So some parts were minor frictions that would result in massive riots. For example, there's always the classic: you've got people walking into Pakistan, people leaving Pakistan to come to India. they go past each other and there's just natural friction between them. And there's a lot of pent-up anger and frustration, and then bam, fights happen. That was a good demonstration that I've seen happen in a few plays or in a few films that is very accurate to what happened at the time. So there were some aspects I was impressed by, but others, I came out of it feeling a bit, I didn't like it. And to me, it just felt too pure. It didn't feel rough or gritty enough for what it should have been.
Yeah, fair enough. That's your opinion. Like you said, I think, but you have enough awareness to understand that not everyone's you. They're trying to cater for a bigger audience.
Of course.
The thing is,
and I'm not oblivious to that.
Yeah, because you know more, that you expect more. I guess if you know nothing about situations, it's probably the right level for you to get interested and have enough, then to go deep dive. But you're going in at a level where you know a little bit more, and you probably want a bit more.
But yeah, and then it's weird how I saw that, and then on the weekend, India played Pakistan, and that's why I said to you, we need to talk about this week, because I just thought too many things have happened for me to understand this in this week. It makes sense to speak to you about this. But still,
young people,
it's always good to go to a play with the wife. Always good to have a broadening of the horizons to see what other people see us as. That's also a really nice thing that Sanj mentioned to me. She even said, I'm glad I went because I got to see what other people think we are like and how we are depicted to them.
That's good.
Does that make sense?
Very good point. Yeah. Does she mean now?
Because... What?
Does she mean now then?
She means now, but also in that play as well, how we were depicted to them. So the massacre of, where is it? 1919, starts with a J.
Jallianwala.
Yes. That massacre was heartbreaking, and no one in the audience knew about it because the actor went a bit off-piste, and he said, do you know about this? And no one really said anything. And then he kind of educated them on the spot.
Went off-piste?
Like, he didn't go off-piste. Obviously, there's some improv that happens at the beginning, and then he'll play off it, and then it'll come back. But with this bit, he kind of shouted out loud, like, who knows about this? And then no one really said anything. And then he said, one person said yes. He said, all right, cool. And then he went into it and then showed them what happened and how it happened with the massacre and people were protesting, etc. So he explained it in very good terms. No, he didn't mention Udham Singh. And to me, I thought that's relevant, but it's not relevant to the story. Hence why I can see why Udham Singh wasn't mentioned, because it's based around the assassin. It's not based around the partition and colonialism.
Yeah, no. I just meant in that one bit. If you're talking about the massacre, General Dyer, then
it didn't, did it?
Yeah,
that's a great film though on Prime. That's one of the few films I've watched, and I was pouring with tears. And there's something that happens that when I see partition depictions, it makes me feel really sad, angry, but also really sad as well at the same time as I watch it. No matter what depiction it is, it can be soft, it can be in your face. You just get this deep feeling of like, that was dark, man.
You can't imagine. And the thing is, when I see things like this, or when you see Palestine-Israel conflict, right? When you see these things and you're of an age where the gravitas is there, right? You actually start imagining. I remember when the Ukraine war broke out with Russia. I remember telling you this, like I was walking, doing my daily walk or whatever. I think it's the day the war broke out. It was BBC were covering it all day, whatever. And you think, imagine, planes are flying over now, bombing England, which happened in the First World War. It's not, the Second World War. It's not that long ago. Could happen in the future as well. But you then start thinking about what it would be like to actually be in the situation. The same with the partition, man. It's like, if somebody said, right, get out, go. You look back at it now and you think, we think 1947 wasn't that long ago. But how could it happen? But how could it have happened? But then there are so many
our grandparents, bro.
There are so many other atrocities not that long ago, even after that, 1984 being one of them. We're going to be speaking to a guest about that as well. How could that happen? Like, these things happen. Somebody asked, I think it was a BBC reporter, asked Ben Shapiro about this, and he was like, is this an existential moment right now? He said, absolutely. He goes, normally, you look back on things after time, through the lens of time. Like, you look back at World War II and you say this genocide was wrong, and this was bad, and this was bad. it's quite hard at the time to recognize the situation that you're in. But he was like saying, this is really bad. Really, really bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know what you mean, man. It's not good.
Yeah, it's interesting. 6 did get a shout out though in the actual play, which was nice. It was like a one-liner, but we got something because I'm like, yeah, I know we weren't the majority, but we had a pretty big role to play in partition, which was when he said over 2 million people were displaced or killed. I can't remember which line it was, but he said Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs were all impacted by the partition. I think it was X amount of people were displaced and X amount of people died. And I thought, okay, fine. All because some guy just drew some janky ass lines and said, there you go. So yeah.
Yeah, but there was a very strategic reason to weaken Punjab.
Yeah, could be that too. I need to understand more of that, but yeah.
That's absolute fact. Punjab is a very strong region. It's very different to what it is now.
But if we think about that, then I need to understand more about it because I don't know how strong Punjab was before that. But when Pakistan was given as a nation, did they intentionally do it around Punjab because they knew that was the right place to do it, to weaken it and give it this existential conflict forever?
That I don't know, but it served two zones. They want their homeland. And remember, there were talks at the time. You had Jinnah, you had Nehru. There was a Sikh representative, and there was a promise that was given by Nehru, which was, you're not going to give Sikhs a homeland at this point. Stay with us in India, and once we give Pakistan, we're going to have another discussion. We're going to give you what you want as well. So there was this idea of this tri-state that was on the table. All based on religion or whatever at the time. Never happened.
I was talking to Sanj about this, and we said we don't think a 6th state would ever happen because people wanted to be Punjab. But if you look at, I'm looking up at my map now, and she said, if you look at the location of Punjab, it's not a good location. There's too many things around it which are conflicted. All the borders are surrounded by other places. There's no water supply. There's no clear barriers around it that will stop you from having trade with others. So think of what's happened in Gaza now. I'm not saying it's the same thing at all before anyone clips this up. They're kind of stuck in a position where you're in Israel and that's your little part, but that's it, which means you could be potentially smothered and kept enclosed.
Yeah.
And you're going to have that if it happens in Punjab as well, because if that's cut out, you're going to be Pakistan on one side and then India around the rest, if my geography is correct. And if you're having conflict with both, you could get squeezed very easily. Yeah. So it doesn't seem like it makes the most sense. And it's just like, I've never thought about it. And she said to me, if you tell me how it's going to work right now, let's talk about it. I said, you know what? I've never got past the actual thought of how it would look. But I've never sat down and really thought about it. I know there's people out there that have, and I'd love to talk to them about it. Yeah. But I've never sat there and thought about it and said, okay, agriculture, fine. Water supply, imports, exports, So there's a lot of issues there just on a global scale of trade. Absolutely. How's it going to work?
The economics, exactly. There has to be economic prosperity for this to work.
Of course.
100%, rather than just for the sake of it being done. I think the people that actually talk about and advocate for this scholar level, I think they have thought about it geography-wise. The other thing that does get talked about is, how let's say the Vatican.
Yeah,
has its own special status, its own country. There is this idea that, even if it's just Amritsar, be afforded the same status. So small on the level of kind of the Vatican, but this bigger idea of kind of independent Sikh state. It's getting a lot of traction at the moment. But
is it?
Yeah, I feel like compared to when we were growing up, it's talked about a lot more now than it ever was.
I've never heard it, but that'd be interesting.
I think someone like Harvey would be good to bring onto the show if you really want to understand the motivation.
I think there is timing for this for sure. The time is probably coming soon, but it's dependent on other guests coming on. I know I'm teasing the audience here, but we definitely do have some people coming on that are, well versed in this, that we do want to understand a lot better about India, Punjab, colonialism, history.
Yeah.
stuff that we've probably read but don't fully understand, but the audience are probably unaware of. And I think it would be good to share that with them just so they can get a nice, well-rounded understanding and topic and piece of learning that we didn't get growing up.
Oh, Indy. It's been a very serious one this week, hasn't it?
It has, but not every week. Not every week can be all sunshine and rainbows.
Every week is about Keir and, missing the Keir and the Tal. And,
it's not. But
it's not,
I've got a feeling this episode will resonate with quite a few people in a different way.
Yes.
We can do serious stuff too, people.
Oh,
yes.
On that note,
we'll catch you next week.
Okay? Thank you.
Yes, listen to your body. Don't get too caught up in India and Pakistan.
Touch my body.
Don't get caught up too much in India versus Pakistan. Enjoy your life. Feel blessed. Hopefully you are. We are. Thank you for 7K, and we'll catch you next week. Thank you guys for watching. Check out the rest of our episodes here, and don't forget to subscribe here. We'll see you guys on the next one.